and it's time to pot on the aubergines and the pepper plants. They're looking pretty big now. They've really started to sort of rocket away. This is what they looked like on the 10th of March, which was about 3 weeks ago now. Look at the difference. They're starting to look like they need a little bit more space. Sort of the leaves are starting to go a bit yellow, so let's get them into some bigger pots with some more nutritious compost. So I started with the peppers. These are Red King peppers, and I think they were suggested by Mark from Mark's Allotment plot, and you can see, yeah, the roots are looking pretty good here, so to me they look ready for a new pot for sure. So I'm just putting them in some more of this cocoa coir compost, but it does have little sort of beads of plant feed in there as well, so hopefully that'll be enough to see them through to their next pots in well, probably at this rate in a few weeks' time. Next it's the aubergines. So this is Violet Night. Let's check out the roots on this one. Wow, even more than the pepper plants there. So yeah, definitely ready for their bigger pot. So I have a few types of aubergine. This is Violet Night, and I think I have 3 plants of each. So Violet Night, Genie, and Pinstripe. And these were all sown along with the pepper plants on the 25th of January this year. So the saga of the fruit cage continues. So the posts for these I bought at least a year ago, I'm pretty sure. In my last vlog, I think it was, I managed to get all of the posts and their metal stakes into the ground with my new sledgehammer. And some assistance from Mark, without who I don't think I would have got these into the ground, probably for another year. And so there's 10 posts, so it's going to be a big fruit cage, and as you can see they're really high as well, so to get to the top I had to get my little step out. The next part of this fruit cage is to add the netting, and this is a huge bit of netting that I had that was covering quite a lot of these bushes last year, but in trying to cover this cage I knew it wasn't going to be enough to cover it, because obviously the height of this is a lot higher than I would have just kind of draped it over some bamboo canes before. This I'm going to need probably 3 or 4 times as much netting, and it does not come cheap. So I've attached what I have, but unfortunately, yes, the saga of the fruit cage is going to continue at least into my next month's vlog, because, yep, sometimes you have to buy things like food and pay rent and pay bills and that sort of thing, rather than buying netting for your allotment fruit cage. So until funds allow, the birds may yet get a chance to steal my berries from me. So I've been reading up on figs. I've got 2 of these. If you saw my last March vlog, you'll have seen my bargain plants that I got, and 2 figs were one of them. So I've been reading up that they aren't very hardy. They can be, but I'm not too sure. So because I've got two, I'm planting one in a pot and keeping it in the fruit cage outside, and then I'm going to put this one in the polytunnel in that corner. So currently there's a lime tree there which seems to have died, or at least the original trees died, and now there's you can see it just there. That's starting to come back, but I don't think it's the original tree. I think it's whatever the root stock was or something like that. It doesn't seem right anyway, and it's growing up very tall and skinny. So I'm thinking, even if that lime does survive, there will be room for a fig, or at least I hope there will be. So I'm going to pop it in the polytunnel. So this one's going to be in here sheltered, and then there'll be one outside to test whether that one survives. So yeah, let's see how it goes. So I need to weed first. Don't want to put this poor little sapling into this monstrosity. So the ground's quite dry on top, but underneath it's pretty good. This did have compost put in it last year. So underneath it's not looking too bad. Looks good. Bit of water. Water the hole before it goes in. Give its roots a chance to settle. Little Miss Figgy, this one's called. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, looks ready to move on to me. Good luck, little Figgy. A little segue to my houseplants. I potted these on, and these Chinese money plants, or pilia as I think they're called, gave me some little babies without me even asking them to. 17 in total. I ended up giving some of them away to some friends. And it's finally time to sow the tomatoes. Tomatoes are one of my favourite things to grow, and these are all of the varieties that I am attempting at least to grow this year. So all of these are varieties that I have heard recommended by various allotment and garden YouTubers. The only one that isn't is one called Mascotka, I think is how you pronounce it. And this is one that I grew on my very first year at the allotment, and I just happened to have some seeds. They might have even been free with an order of something. Little red cherries, and they, to me, they tasted like eating tomato ketchup straight, in the greenhouse. It was really exciting. It might have been, the nostalgia of my first year at the allotment, but these Mascotka are one of my favourites. They're lovely and tomatoey and tangy and just beautiful. So I'm sowing them in these trays. 3 seeds per variety and just dibbing 3 little holes and popping a seed in each. I'm hoping that I can grow at least 1 plant of each variety. So at the moment it looks like a lot, and I think I've got 18 varieties, 3 seeds of each, but I'm hoping not to have that many plants at the end of it. Did you know you can eat beetroot leaves as well as the roots? So I thought I'd give this a go. I harvested my first beetroots and had some of the leaves as well in a salad for my lunch today. In my last vlog I wood chipped my paths, and I've had another surprise delivery of more wood chips to finish off, but not everyone was quite as impressed as me. Should we go home? Come on then. Come on. Should we go home? Come on then. Good boy. So it's been 5 days since I sowed the tomatoes, and we've got germination. Not on all of them, but a good few of them have come up, look. It's also time to sow carrots. Now I'm not very good with carrots. I've had a couple over the few years that I've had the allotment, but I never seem to either get them to germinate or can keep them alive long enough to get actual carrots from them. But this year I'm trying again, because the taste of home-grown carrots cannot be beaten by shop-bought ones. So I'm trying 4 different varieties this year. These nunts are small carrots, so they should grow relatively quickly compared to some of the longer, more traditional sort of shaped carrots that you get. I'm just sprinkling them in now, and we'll thin them later if and when they germinate. The next variety is more nunts. These are early nunts. I'm not sure of the difference, but again they're small and they should grow quite quickly. My soil is fairly sandy and carrots should like that. One of the things with carrots is that if the soil is stony, they can sometimes hit a stone and split off. Touchon. These are ones that have been recommended by someone on YouTube, but I can't quite remember who. Slightly longer carrots, these ones, a bit more like your traditional carrot that you would buy in the supermarket. And sweet candle, another long variety that I've heard are very tasty. So I'm hoping sowing these in a tall raised bed will help keep the carrot root fly away. Apparently they fly quite close to the ground, so planting your carrots up high can sometimes help to stop to have them fly into your carrots and eat them, but we'll see if that works. I might also net them as well, but for now I'm going to cover them over, and then I'm going to add a pane of glass to the top, which I'm hoping will act as a bit of a greenhouse and keep them warm, but the cover will also stop the water evaporating, so it will keep them nice and moist. That's one of the keys to germinating carrots, I have heard, that you need to keep them moist and warm, and they need good contact with the soil because they're such tiny seeds. They can dry out very quickly. and having good contact with the soil and cover over them whilst they're germinating helps them to stay moist. Just adding the all-important labels. The amount of times I've forgotten to label things and then either dug things up or completely forgotten what they are when I come to harvest them or weed them by accident. It may not look like it, but I've just weeded this area next to the gate, and my plan is to add in some bulbs. There's already a lily in here which we planted last year, and I'm glad to see it's come back, and these are lots of spring bulbs that I got really cheap on an online order, so they're all going in next to the gate, so we've got a lovely splash of colour in the summer when people walk through the gate, and hope that Rufus does not trample them on his eagerness to escape the allotment. So you might remember my indoor cucumber that I sowed in January and I've managed to harvest in March. Well, that cucumber is now done and dusted. It gave me lots of cucumbers, but it soon gave up steam. So I sowed some more on the same day as my tomatoes, and they've germinated. Tomatoes are looking good still. And I was also given some chilli plants. I wasn't planning on growing chillies this year, but I won't say no to a gift of free plants. And I'm also having a go at propagating some mint this year to replace the mint on the allotment that died in the raised planter that I'd put it in. So we'll see how that goes. Time for a polytunnel update. It's getting towards the end of April now. And these are my 50 kohlrabi plants that I'm hoping I'll be able to harvest before the tomatoes go in. And there is my little Miss Figgy that you saw me planting earlier in the vlog. This is my lemon verbena, which looked pretty dead about a month ago, but lots of nice fresh new life on it. And these are the mooly radishes, and we have one ready to harvest. Fantastic. Not tasted or grown mooly radishes before. I did try last year, but they didn't work. Here we've got some spinach and lovely little gem lettuce. And just a few more kohlrabi. The strawberries that I got at the garden centre in the last vlog are looking good. Here are some brassicas, parsley, my shallots which will be going out soon, a few more brassicas, and the other strawberries. Here we've got lilia spring onions, leeks and garlic chives. My celeriac are just about holding on to life. A few cauliflowers there which I've got to decide where they're going to go outside. And then my onions which are going to be going in between the carrots that I just sowed. I think we have carrots. Amongst the weeds. There we go. You can see a line of them. Oh, and I think here as well. Tiny ones. Sort of. Oh, yeah, and some more here. Need to weed around them though. But I don't think we've got any of the other ones. Looking a bit blank. Oh no, here's some. Lovely. Hopefully I can keep them alive now. Can anyone tell me in the comments what this little guy is? It's a beautiful red colour And look at these little antennae. So cute. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what he is. But beautiful nonetheless. If you look just here, he turns around and I'm sure he clocks the spider behind him that then runs up. You scared him away, mate. I've decided to make some dandelion syrup. I'd not heard of this till quite recently, but it's supposed to be very similar to honey. So if you don't eat honey for whatever reason, apparently it's a good substitute and a good way to use up what a lot of people would consider is a weed. So off down the allotment to pick 200, at least 200 dandelion heads, and bring them back here and have a go at cooking up some dandelion syrup. Let's go. I also thought I might give some Viola syrup a try too, so I'm going to pick a few of these as well. So if you'd like to see how I turned all these 200 dandelion flowers into syrup, then look out for a future video because I'm planning on putting all of these steps together and making a video of it. So yeah, if you're not already subscribed, do subscribe to the channel and look out for that video. But in the meantime, look at the gorgeous colour of these syrups. So it's nearly the end of April now, and the mooly radishes have gone to flower. They look very beautiful, but it does mean that it's overdue that I harvest these. So here we go, let's see what we've got. Slightly odd shaped one there. Not quite sure why. I'm going to break off the foliage because it saves me having to take foliage and radishes home. I think if it was younger, a bit like the beetroots, maybe it would be okay to eat it, but it's gone quite, thick stemmed and old leaves. I think they're going to be quite bitter. Here's another one, slightly nicer shape, good size as well. Another one there, a little bit smaller but more of a smoother radishy shape, so that's good. I'm probably not going to harvest all of these today, although they probably will start going woody if I leave them in much longer. I don't want to harvest them and then not eat them all in one go and they go a bit dry and horrible. I've just broken one, and that's the biggest one yet as well, so oh well. Check out the size of that one. And here's my harvest. I've got a few radishes there, but I've also taken some of the green tops as well, because they should taste a little bit like sprouting broccoli. It's also time to harvest my first gem lettuce. Really excited because I haven't grown these before, so I'm hoping it'll be nice and crunchy in a salad later. And there's also some spinach ready. They're quite big leaves, so I'm going to get rid of the biggest ones and then hope that this encourages the little ones to grow from the centre and keep harvesting. After 3 years of waiting, it's finally time. Gonna harvest some asparagus. Someone's beat me to it. And on the last day of April, it was the first time this year that I've got the hose pipe out. So it's now officially spring. Thanks so much for joining me on the plot and for watching till the end. If you've not already subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. I'm still a very small channel and every subscriber really does mean the world. So if you'd like to subscribe, not only will you get all of this sort of gardening and allotment content, but I also do videos about some of the creative projects that I work on. So if it sounds like your sort of thing, I hope to see you in my next video.